story really. We didn't get it the first time. But anyways, thank you guys for taking time out of your Wednesday afternoon or noon, whatever you call this time.
Morning.
What did you say?
It's morning still here.
Okay, morning, mid, afternoon, noonish, to be with us. So tonight, I'll start my Zoom. So tonight, so today, Michelle, what are you talking about today?
It's a cluster.
Okay, I figured. I was like, I am like so fired up right now. And I told Michelle, I was like, I want to talk to you guys about how to convert a product lover, someone who maybe has shared once or twice, or maybe who is at gold, who is someone on your team that has been, I say, stuck. Like, how can you help them as a leader? Because I think so often, first of all, let's talk about July really quick. Like, let's just dive in. Does everyone have their goals and where they want to go for July? Do you know where you want to go for July? Shake your head yes or shake your head no. Drop a 1 in the comments if yes. Drop a 2 in the comments if no. This is a safe place. 1, 1, 1. We're here. Just two people know where they're going this month. Okay, Michelle does. Brianna does. Brianna's getting a dose of that baby life. What it's like. Okay, 2. Donna said she does not. Okay, so
Wait, Brianna, that's not your baby, is it?
Lord, honey, no.
Surprised
I was gonna say, have I missed out on like 9 months and
No, it's my sister's baby.
No, she
Okay.
actually just had it a couple months ago. She didn't know she was pregnant. It was like one of those stories, you know? Okay. So if you guys are open to the ones that, and I'm not trying to single you out but I want to take this as a time to like have an open coaching, because if you know where you're going and you know what you need to do, then what I'm about to train on, you're going to say, okay, got it. But if you don't know where you're going and you don't know how you're going to get there, what I'm about to be training on is you're going to be like, that's just useless because I have no idea who I'm focusing on, where my business needs to be. So if you're open to unmuting yourself and just saying, okay, this is why I might be confused about where I need to go, or how do I even get to writing that down on paper? Like, I've just been out of my business for a little bit, or maybe you took a couple, whatever it may be. Is anyone open to doing that?
Sure, I will.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm senior Ruby, but have been down at Ruby-ish points for, I don't know, a year and a half probably. And so I feel like, every month I'm like, I want to re-rank. I want to develop a silver, like that just seems, so I guess it's like, that's my goal, but it's been my goal for months. So I'm clearly not doing it right. And so, I don't know. Yeah, I guess I just don't know where to go from there. I keep trying to encourage and inspire and reach out to people and encourage them to share, or kind of see where they're at, thinking about those product users, and I just can't seem to get anybody to have any desire to share no matter what carrot I throw out there. So
Okay, thank you for sharing that with me, because I feel like this is such a thing that I see so often. And what I heard that stuck out was you saying that I have just been trying to re-rank. And I think that, do you feel like you're making this, like you're feeling something because you're always trying to re-rank, and you haven't re-ranked yet? Do you feel like some thoughts and feelings around those types of things? Like, why can't I just do it already? Like, if I was going to do it, I would already be there. Right.
Absolutely. Because I know that I've been bringing in my 3 people every month, at least 3. And so I feel like I'm like, I'm doing that piece, and then I'm trying to help lead my team and stuff. But no matter what I do, even the crazy school year when I feel like I do less, or the past few months where I'm doing a ton, I'm still like at 560. Like it's like always right there. And I'm like, what the heck? You know, and so I know I need my people to duplicate and, you know, or, you know, start sharing and stuff. And I just, you know, it's like the same couple people are the ones that are my team, and I just can't get other people to do more. So yeah, so I guess I feel a little bit lost as to what to do. I feel like I'm doing the things, but I'm clearly not.
Okay. So tell me, okay, so I'm like going to just go in because this is what I love to do this because it helps to break past some of the things. Because when my team comes to me and they're like, I'm doing all the things, I'm like, what are all the things? So tell me, what are all the things that you're doing with your IPA?
Okay. So I am sending out some cold message reach outs. Just a couple a day. I probably do, you know, an hour, sometimes 2 hours a day. And so I know I probably could do more. I'm reaching out with my leaders, trying to see where they're at, posting all of the time.
Okay.
I'm trying to be, since convention, trying to be a lot more bold with my messages and trying to focus more on business than just always products.
Yeah.
I'm trying to recreate something in my team page to build some more engagement and belief in the products and business. I feel like I am doing personal growth stuff.
Listening to
So,
podcasts, reading a book, all those things.
yes.
Okay. So let me ask you, when you're saying you're sending cold messages, are you voice messaging or are you texting them?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
Yeah, so I find that it's actually kind of nice sometimes if I just like take a walk. I feel bolder when I'm taking a walk. I don't know why. I just
Same.
I send voice messages like it's like I'm pretending that I'm like actually walking with them, and I feel bolder. I don't know. It's weird, but I'm glad I'm not the only one. But so I do a little mixture of sending voice messages, and then using some of those scripts that, you know, that we had at convention or that I've seen other people share. I don't feel like I am getting, I mean, since convention, I've been a lot more bold. And I'm not getting feedback either way.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like, I'm not sure, you know, and I want to encourage my teammates to do the same, but at the same time, I'm like, oh, I'm not getting a whole lot from how I'm doing it. So maybe I shouldn't tell them to do it that way.
Well, okay. So here's the thing here. So I want you to think about messaging them without a script. Going to that person and saying, and if you're messaging more product, I want you to message business. Okay. And I think that, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, I would say that almost 90% of the reason why you are where you are, which is not a bad place, because if you're still landing at Ruby for the last several months, maintaining a rank is just as hard, right? Maintaining a rank is just as hard. And so many people get down on themselves, no matter if if we don't normalize dropping back points and the fluctuation of points, like we learned this the other day on our Diamond Sprint call. And it was just like, if you don't normalize like fluctuation of points, like you're not going to be able to inspire your team to continue to push through when those times are hard. And like, if you're making the points about you, like if you're saying, oh my gosh, like I suck as a leader, why can I not get past this and get back up to senior Ruby and then fly on to Emerald? Most of the time it's a belief issue, and your belief in what you have and in the business isn't filled up, right? Because you haven't been hitting the senior Ruby rank, and you haven't been, you know, whatever it may be. I'm just making these things up. Maybe you haven't brought in a business builder in a while, and all of these things, you're kind of feeling like, man, I'm a little rusty at this. Like, and you said it yourself, how am I going to teach my team to do this if I'm not getting responses? But the thing is if you're willing to just be open and say, okay, guys, when was the last time that you took even if you have 2 people on your team, those are people that are willing to work. What I would say is to do a one-on-one call with them weekly. Say, okay, you and I are going to get on a call once a week and we're going to work, right? Invite someone to you say you do 1 to 2 hours a day. have 1 hour with one person, the other hour with the other person, and work with them, talk to them. That's going to build that community up on your team. No matter, like, it's so much better than if you're trying to get your team back in motion, like I say, a big call is not going to do that. You need to first start connecting and doing those little touches. I mean, that could even be 3 times a week, 30 minutes, right? Like, find out their goals, find out how you can help them and help them refocus, get them re-excited, get yourself re-excited. Like, just drop all of so what I told myself going into the Diamond Sprint group, I was like, I'm dropping every bad habit that I have accumulated over the last 7 years. Like, I want Genevieve to literally smack me in the face. Like, I just, like, let's go, let's do this. Like, I'm not going to be pushed back and be like, well, that's not how I've done it the last 7 years. Like, no, like I am like, the slate is clean. Like, I want to soak up all this information and I want to grow. Like, I'm ready to get more points and impact more people on my team. And so I think sometimes we have to lay down the thoughts that we have about ourselves, about not ranking, about not being influential with our team, and having our team think, oh, well, if she's not getting messages, then that, obviously, what is she doesn't know what she's doing. That's not true. Okay. Like, your team doesn't care. All your team cares about is if you care about them enough to invite them on a personal call, to invest in their business and their lives. And with the messages that you're sending, go personal. Pick, like, if I was going to message you, I would be like, hey, Heather, like, listen, I saw you guys went on vacation last week. That was so fun. We're thinking about going camping. What are your top tips, like, with a kid? Tell me what I need to know. And then I would just slide on in and just be like, listen, this is totally out of the blue, maybe on your end, but for me, I have loved to follow you for the last, several years. And I'm hesitant to, like, even message you this, but I would truly feel like I would be doing you an injustice if I didn't just tell you about Plexus. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but here's what I think about you. List all the things and just say, like, would you have like 5 minutes to hear my story? Or to hear about how I feel like this could be something that you would really love, that we could do this together. Just something like that, instead of the long scripted stuff, because people just know that is a scripted. And I've told my team and myself the same thing. It's just, when you just go on a walk and be like, I'm going to send 5 business messages today. And here's the thing, everybody listen. People who join you for the business, they're not the same as product messages, right? When you send a product message, you're posting about the product. They know, like, they're like, oh, like, the pink drink's going to help me with, sugar cravings and the energy. Like, that's like an instant. They know that if I take this, I'm going to feel like this. Right. And so it's so much easier for someone to say a product yes than a business yes, because when you just first start messaging that person about the business, that is just an opening of, like, the vision that you're about to cast. And that vision casting can take a whole year, maybe, right? Like, so I tell my team, don't get discouraged on the first message that you send if they don't respond, or if they say no. That is just you saying, okay, she's going to be a little tough, but I believe in her and I want her to be on my team. And so then you're going to start that process of vision casting with them. And you're going to say, you're going to have a mix of Plexus and just non-Plexus messages, right? Like, touches throughout the month. And if there's an opportunity, like an opportunity event, that's a touch you can do. If you see something like, a recipe that she's cooking, and you're like, that looks so good, instead of commenting on her actual post, comment in the messenger. That way you can take it back to being personal. And so you have to be really intentional about those people. And I guarantee that if you just take the timeline off and just say, okay, like, I'm here for the long run. Like, I want to find the gaps in my business. Where are the gaps, right? Are you going live once a week? Are you connecting with your team one-on-one? Are you hosting power hours? Like, those types of things. Like, if you can think about what little things, because I feel like we forget about the basics when we're in a valley, right? We forget about the basics and we're trying to say, like, we're, looking on what this team's doing, what this girl's doing, and then we're trying to implement all these different things, when all we should do is just go back to the basics, do the 4 pillars, right? The 4 pillars is what we should be always circling around. So if you get good at those, you're going to be successful. Work on your belief, do a belief check-in with yourself every day. Say, how is my belief today with the business, with the products? Take your products consistently, show your face and your stories taking your products, share about the business, and just believe that you can, where you want to be. Where's your 30-day goal, right? So say you're at 550 points last month. How many points do you want to grow by this month? Right? 100 points. And so you look and say, okay, like who on my team can I get to silver, senior silver? Like, and this is going to take being uncomfortable and going in and saying and messaging all your level ones that are loving their products and saying, hey, I don't know if you know this month, but you with your, wholesale account or your brand ambassador account, you have a referral link. You can get $25 in product credit to put towards a free product this month. Do you know at least one person that you feel like could use Plexus? And then you ask. And so now I'm going to go into, so Heather, does that help a little bit?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
I want you guys to understand that like the only thing that's standing in our way most of the time is ourselves and our belief in we can't do this, or we don't have enough influence, or we've been stuck at these points forever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. When you are in a room full of people, your points are not hanging over your head. You have more knowledge than I'm sure a lot of diamonds do, right? Like truly, like you have to understand that just because your points aren't where they want to be doesn't mean you're any less of a leader. Like your points don't determine how smart you are, how good you are, how influential you are. That's a number and that's always going to fluctuate. That's just the reality of this business. But what we do in the fluctuation is what's going to spring us forward and what is going to determine where we're going to be in the next 30 to 60 to 90 days. And so if you can identify the gaps, the places in your business that you're like, okay, maybe I don't do enough one-on-one calls. Like that could be a gap, right? That could be the connection part, because I know you're saying dangling carrots. Don't dangle carrots. You don't want to chase people that don't want to do this, right? So maybe you say, I'm going to go get new people, right? I'm going to get new people, and in the 3 people that are working, I'm going to love on them and see where I can get them in the next 30 days, right? Like, and just be honest with them and say like, listen, this is a complete example, but like, you could be like, listen, I know I haven't been as present in my own business as I should have been. And I'm sorry because you deserve better as a leader. And so I want to see how I can serve you and how we can come together and we can run together. Like, what are your goals? Do you need help, kind of visioning what you want, and getting with those people and just asking them like, what's your goal? Let's do this together. And I just think that really ignites things. And a lot of the times it's you checking in, setting a reminder on your phone. Hey, it's Wednesday, check in with Diane, or hey, it's Thursday, check in with Stacy, and just doing those check-ins and saying, hey girl, like I'm about to send some messages. Who's on your list today? Just doing those small little things and being in their business and letting them know you believe in them and that you know that they can do this. And I just think that that's a lot of the times we forget to do those things and we're so mechanical with the activity. But if you can love on your people well, I think that everything else kind of falls in place, and obviously the action is huge. But so anyways, that saying all of that, and Michelle, I'm just going to talk for like 10 minutes about the thing and then you can go ahead and.
No, you're good. Keep going.
Well, I'm just like, we got off this like call and I'm just like, so we get so stuck in where we are.
Mhm.
And the only problem is us being in our way and saying, well, I've tried all of this and nothing works, or I can't get one person to share. And I'm like, so you've messaged everybody in your back office. Like I even asked myself this. I'm like, when I find myself falling in this trap, I'm like, have you done absolutely no, you haven't exhausted every single outlet that you can. And when you do, then you can say that, but it's just time and knowing that for every 10 messages, you're going to get one response. That's just statistics, right? And so you have to think about how many messages are you sending? Do you need to amp that up? Look back at a month that you were crushing it. What were you doing differently that month versus this month? Were you more consistent? Were you posting more? Were you hosting more events? Were you asking for a shout out right away? Were you getting them into a wellness event? Were you hosting more opportunity calls? Like those types of things, because when we start to fall back in points, we start to reel back on all the things that we were doing when we were in momentum, because somehow our brain just makes us think that those things don't work anymore, but that's not true. So I want to walk you guys through how an onboarding system, who has an onboarding system? Drop a 1 in the comments if you have an onboarding system. Okay, my team is on here and y'all better be dropping some ones because we got an onboarding system. Okay. So an onboarding system. This is going to be your missing link. Your missing link, guys. If you cannot properly onboard someone, how can you duplicate, right? How can you duplicate? I will drop a PDF of our onboarding system in the chat, but I'm just going to go over it really quick and then I will drop it in there and it'll all be there and it all makes sense. Okay. So when someone comes in, right, this is literally what we've had the same onboarding system for the last several years and we've tweaked it a little bit, but it's simple and it works. And it just, if you use it, it works. Okay. So always tell my girls, get on the phone with people, even with the share a cart. You have to get on the phone with people. If someone is at work, sure, share the cart, but say, hey, we are going to get on a phone call tonight at 5 p.m. Sound good? Because you want to make that first connection because they just trusted you and they just dropped like $200. So you want to make sure that they know that you are there to help them, that you are going over anything that you need to know before you sign them up or anything you know before they get their products, like what medications they're on, telling them about water, telling them about possible detox, telling them about their referral link, asking them if they know anybody. Guys, these are things that we have to do every time that we sign someone up. Because if you're not telling them right off the bat, like, hey, you have a referral link, and referral links are so common these days. Like, I don't know what business or product that I buy that doesn't automatically say, hey, here's a referral link. Like if you know someone, you get like 10% off or you get $10 off. So you have to go through these steps. Okay. Yeah, I think that when you get on the phone, I'm happy to share, I have like a whole phone flow conversation thing that we have for our team that just kind of hits the boiler points of what you need to talk about. And so after we get off the phone, right before we get off the phone, I ask them, I say, hey, listen, it's going to be 3 to 5 days before your products arrive. Most people share their excitement right away in a post form. Would you be okay if I sent you a post, a quick little shout out? It sounds something like, I'm so excited to get started on these all natural supplements my friend Andrea told me about. She's seen X, Y, and Z. It's going to sound something like that. Could I send you the post over? Most of the time they're like, sure. Right. So what you're going to do, you're going to get off the phone with them and you're going to craft that post up. And you can even ask them, what are 3 things that you're super excited to see change with Plexus? And then you can add that in there. You can say, she's seen X, Y, and Z. I'm really excited to see X, Y, and Z. Who wants to do this with me? Honestly, that has been like the olden post, but guys, it freaking works. It's simple. It works. Why reinvent the wheel, right? Like it works. You can send them a picture of a pink drink within a bottle with someone's hand. You can tell them, hey, you know what I do? I go to their profile and I pick their profile picture out and I say, send this, or I pick one that might like the most recent or a picture that they posted of themselves. If they posted it, I'm sure they think they look good. So like, that's a safe bet. I'm saying, hey, you look so pretty in this picture. This is what you should post with it, right? Like if you just tell them what to do, most likely they're going to be like, okay. And then what are you going to do after that? You're going to say, when you post this, you're going to post it right now. You're going to say, when you post this, you are going to put me in a 3-way if anyone comments. When someone comments, you're going to say, I'll send you the scoop. And then you're going to say, this is what you're going to say. This is my friend Andrea. I just literally got started today. I have no idea about anything. I just know that I'm going to feel better when I'm on these products. But Andrea's been doing this for 7 years. And she's going to be a wealth of knowledge. You're going to love her. So I'm going to add her in here, right? You're going to text this out to them. So all they got to do is copy and paste and they put it in there. Okay. So then that is where you come in. This is a 3-way. These 3 ways are magic. So you are going to come in and you're going to lead the conversation and you're going to say, hey, Sally, how are you? I saw that you were interested in Plexus. What are some of your health goals, or what are a few things that are keeping you from feeling your best most days? Sally's going to tell you. And then you're going to say, thank you so much for sharing that with me. That helps me to understand your goals better and to send you something that makes sense. Okay. So then you're either going to share the triplex video or a testimony, whatever you want to send, doesn't matter. And then you're going to ask them, hey, when do you have a quick minute to check out this 2-minute video that explains exactly what our products do? Or, hey, when you told me what your health goals were, my friend Natalie's story popped in my head. Could I grab her story for you really quick? When do you have a second to look at that? So this is, you never want to just send the testimony or the video without them telling you when they can watch it, because then that conversation goes dead, right? You want that conversation to be like a ping pong table, back and forth, back and forth. So they're going to say, hey, you can send it over right now. Or if they don't, they can say, hey, after lunch or after dinner tonight, you can send it over. You're going to say, okay, great. What time works for you? They're going to say 7, you're going to put 7 o'clock on your phone, then you're going to send it. If they say right now, then you are going to say, okay, great, let me grab it. You're going to grab the video or you're going to grab the story and you're going to send it. And you're going to say, hey, I'm going to check back in with you in a few minutes to see what you thought of the testimony, or I'm going to check back in with you and see what stood out to you in the video. Set a timer of 3 minutes, 4 minutes, whatever you want to do. Check back in and say, hey, did you relate to anything in that video? I always love to watch it because so many things stood out to me that I used to struggle with. They're going to say, yeah, like I really, could relate to the sugar cravings, the more energy, or you're going to say, did anything stand out in my friend Natalie's testimony? I loved her testimony so much, blah, blah, blah. They're going to say, yes, I cannot believe how much I relate to her, especially the part with the anxiety. And then you're going to say, would you like to see what Natalie takes to help with those things? Or would you like to see what products I could recommend for you that would help with your health goals? Then they're going to say yes. Then you're going to go grab a welcome pack and you're going to say, I would recommend you start with the triplex. It's the slim, and you're going to give a brief description of the slim, the probio, and the bio cleanse. And you're going to say, this bundle is usually, and I usually give the retail price. I'll say this bundle is usually 100 and whatever it is, but it's on sale this month for $109 plus shipping and tax. And next month for this bundle, it's going to be $124 plus shipping and tax. Do you feel like you could benefit from this? Right? I'm already going over all the objections. I'm already going over if there's a subscription, if there's shipping and tax, I'm giving them the retail versus the wholesale price. And then I'm asking them, do they feel like they could benefit? And if they say yes, I say, perfect. When's a good time to sign you up? So that is what you will do if it is in a 3-way message, or if it is someone coming to ask you what is Plexus, or they comment on your post, more information. So that is like a conversation that will literally just walk you through it and walk them through it quickly, right? And there's no whatever. But of course, there's going to be times where you're going to have the person that like go whatever. That's just normal, but that's the follow-up process. And so that is what we have been doing for years, literally. Just it's quick and easy. And if you can get your team to put you in 3 ways, it's so easy just to get especially a new person. And when they post, having that shout out post right away, and then people getting like that popcorn popping, it's like, it can explode. They can go silver in one day. And then after that, I'm asking them to do a wellness event. I'm like, hey, you had a lot of interest on your post. And you can also say before they make the post, like, you may or may not get anybody that comments on your post. Like, that's just, people might want to see you use the products a little bit longer, but that's fine. But you can also say, who do you know? Like, who can we get on a call? Like, just don't be afraid to ask people these things. If you like whip up an event, just be like, hey, we have like a 15-minute, testimonial Zoom that we're doing next Thursday. Do you have any friends that would want to come? And it's okay if you don't have that. Just be like, hey, Michelle, hey, blah, blah, blah. Let's get on 15 minutes next Thursday for 15 minutes and let's invite some people. Like, it can be last minute. My team knows I love the last minute things just because it's easy to implement. You have a whole plethora of people that would be happy to help, I'm sure. So that is our onboarding system. And then obviously we put them in the team page. We welcome them. We always introduce them to our sponsor. We make sure that they have the guide to start with, go over detox, put the check-ins in your planner when you're supposed to check in with them, ask good questions, how many are you taking of each? And I always tell my new girls that I sign up, I'm like, oh, I'm in those 3 ways as we're checking in for the first 30 days. So I can help like with any kind of, whatever, but I give them the material and they will do it. But if I pop in and I'm like, oh, maybe that question you could have asked like a little bit like more in depth, like I will go behind the scenes and say like, hey, like you have to guide them, right? You cannot be scared of stepping on people's toes, but you have to guide them. And And then after that last 30 days, like at the end of 30 days, they're going to know what to do because you have it, you've been teaching them. And so guess what they're going to do? They're going to go teach that person and they're going to go teach that person. And you have to be consistent with it. And it's just a waterfall of duplication, right? It says you have to have a different group for VIPs versus team biz builders. Do you have a different group? I do, but I didn't up until like 2 years ago. I wouldn't stress about it. Our VIP group just got really clouded with shout outs and stuff. And so I just wanted a group for just to do like challenges and like run like biz specials and stuff like that, like in my biz group. But I mean, you don't have to. I really wouldn't. You can get a chat group if you don't want to handle two groups, is like 1,000% what I would recommend. I mean, and I also have a ton of chat. We have like a big team chat group every month. Get your runners in there, pour into them. I think that is truly like where a lot of people miss the boat, is they don't put their runners in a chat and connect with them. And I have just found that it creates so much like team camaraderie. Like, I don't know, I just feel like it's just such a good way to connect with your team. But then also to encourage your leaders to break out and do things with their own team. Like, don't feel like you have to have your hands in every single part of your team, because then you're not giving people the like courage to grow. Like, encourage your team to do their own power hours with their team, or, you know, do their own pink 15s and things like that, because I just feel like it gives other people leverage to see, you know, that they are capable of doing those things and spreading their wings. And so don't burn yourself out thinking that you have to do it all. Like, that's why you have amazing people on your team. You just have to find their strengths and say, this is what you can do. Like, you can do this. Like, let's do this. Can you make these graphics? Can you host this call with me? Like, if you're always hosting your team calls, like, offer it to somebody else. Cause I guarantee, like, even if people are nervous, they want to do it. Like, I mean, I started hosting team calls when I was gold. And I was like, I don't even know what I'm talking about. Like, but here we are, you know, but you just have to start somewhere. And who knows if my sponsor even trusted me, but she allowed me to do it. And it was the best thing. So just, everything doesn't have to be perfect. And most of the time we have to be okay with letting other people do things in our business. It might not be the way we do it, but you're giving that person the ability to fly and to be confident in their business. So anyways, that is the onboarding system. And that is how you can literally use that formula for a gold. Like, you can add, if someone is stuck on your team at a place, dig through their back office, get on a Zoom with them, dig through their back office and say, okay, have you asked Mary for a shout out? Have you asked Sally for a shout out? Have you messaged them about the free $25 this month? Like, go through there, and then you're going to take them through that entire process. If someone's already made a post, ask them to make an updated testimonial post of how they're feeling now. Like that, it can just be used and continuously, like in any kind of situation. So hopefully that was helpful, and I'll drop a PDF of it all in the chat, but go ahead, Michelle.
Okay, first of all, like, was that not so good? Andrea's so good. And the thing, I was actually thinking about this, Andrea, like, I don't know how many years ago it was. We've been doing this for a while. Crazy. But I don't know how many years ago it was. Andrea and I got on a Zoom, and she was in that place. I think she was Senior Ruby. Or
I had hit Emerald. And it was like by the skin of my teeth, and I fell back all the way to 600 points, remember? And I was like devastated. Like, I was literally just like not doing anything, because I was believing like there's no way I can climb back up to 1,500. Like, I had like 2 people on my team that was actually doing the things. Everyone else here's the lesson. I was pulling along and dangling carrots for every single body else. And guess what? When that carrot was gone, when I was tired of dangling the carrot, they were gone. So it was like,
yeah.
You know.
Well, I was thinking about that. This isn't what I was going to talk about, but I think that everything that was shared on the Zoom was exactly what was needed for today. But I was thinking about your story and how, like, I remember a conversation, and I remember like your change of attitude. And I'm actually reading John Maxwell's book, The Winning Attitude, I think it's called.
Oh yeah.
And her attitude when we got on that Zoom was like, I'm done. I'm done with how I've been doing this. I'm done with pulling people along, pushing, whatever it is. I'm done with doing that. And I am going to slow down so that I can accelerate. And I remember her saying at that moment was like, I'm creating a system. I'm getting things in order. And Andrea has been, I'm saying this to encourage some of you because I know that mentality, I remember Christina Williams at convention. Do you remember her? She never held rank until after Diamond, and now she's way past Diamond. So every rank she would hit, she would go backwards. And what if she stayed in that mentality that she could never reach this ultimate goal, like the never reach the top? What if she didn't, like you always have to take those moments and just say like, okay, where am I at in my business? What is it that I feel like I need to shift? What is that I need to slow down in so that I can grow? And I think that sometimes we get in this place where we've been like very focused on like recruiting, like bringing in all these people, prizes, trying to earn a cruise. The cruise, it's amazing, but it's a very high recruiting type of incentive. Like we're going to bring in all these people, but I know that the only way that we really sustain, grow, and actually have a legacy business, which is what I want. I don't want short-term success. Nobody wants short-term, drop in the pan, real quick success, and then it all dies off. I want leaders. And I know that what it takes to develop a leader is investing in one person. It's about the one. One person can absolutely transform our business. But in order to actually develop leaders, that takes time. And it's just like what Andrea said, it takes systems. It takes having things in place so that we can accelerate fast. And so I remember, that conversation, and I'm just looking at Andrea now and everything she's been through and how solid she is as a leader. And just so you know, every person that is like been like, they're struggling with their points or backwards, like the ones of you that take on the winning attitude and figure it out, like there's no definition of what's possible for you. Like your potential is absolutely everything it is for every other person. It's the ones that decide to like, okay, I remember being in a room with one of my leaders, and she literally like pulled me in a room, shut the door, and she's like, I'm not walking out of this room until I figure out what I need to do to get to the next level. And she went emerald. It was like, we talked through it. We're like, okay, well, like, like we were discussing, like really getting like nitty gritty. And so I know that everything that is holding us back is the potential to set us free. Like everything that we feel like bogged down or like mentality, like that is what that is it's speaking to what needs to be let go to like be free to actually move forward. So I've loved today because it's just a reminder to me of like, there's no limit. And if you think about, oh, I've been doing this all along and I have no system, it's like, it doesn't matter because we control everything. That we're our own CEO. So we can sit down and we can collaborate and we can create something and we can run with it. We can take off today. We can change our attitude, like we can change how we do business. We can change our messages. We can change how we show up every day. We can change how we talk to our leaders. Like we can just start traveling, we can do meetings. We can not be afraid if just one person shows up. Like there's nothing like our past and where we're at in our points and, who we have on our team. Like that's just is. But that doesn't have to like change. That doesn't have to affect what we do today and what we're doing in the future. So I don't really feel like I need to add like a whole lot. I think Andrea, this was like so good, everything you shared. And are you going to put that stuff in the Senior Ruby chat?
Yep, I will.
Okay.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I just appreciate everybody jumping on. I feel like it's so good to hear like even things that Heather shared, and like things that Andrea shares, always one or two things that we can really glean from hearing and know that like, oh, I'm not the only person that feels this way. But at the same time, it exposes us to recognize like, okay, that might not be the best place to be feeling if we want to like move forward. So we cannot let our points, or we cannot let like a discouraging moment keep us from seeing the potential because it's the potential that you see in every person that you talk to that's going to actually get them to run with you. It's always seeing people's potential. So
I agree. And I think also too, like Michelle said, if you're like, holy crap, I have not had a system. I didn't have a system for 4 years. So it's okay. Like it's nothing, but the thing is like you can implement it and it's simple and you can look at it as an exciting new tool that you have that's going to yield business. You know what I'm saying? And so go into this month, like it is only the 12th, I think, of this month. And guys, we have such a long time to earn leaders and to get to where you want to be. Where do you want to be August 1st? Like, what if you could be guaranteed? Think about this. Say, okay, I want to grow by 100 points. What if you were like, you were guaranteed to grow by 100 points if you put in, if someone was like, okay, I will give you 100 points, but you have to show up and do the 2 things that are scaring you the most. Would you do it to get those 100 points? I would be like, okay, like I'm going to do it. I'm going to, do the 2 things that are scaring me the most, messaging people, getting in my stories, going live, whatever that may be. So I want you to think about like, what are the things that you are just so fearful of right now? Whether it's messaging, whether it's getting in your back office, whether it is, just telling, if you're not telling your team what you want, how the heck are they going to know what they need to be focusing on? Because it's not selfish. Everyone's always like, oh, like, I don't want to tell them where I want to be because it's not about me, but it's about everybody's business. And if you're the leader, so however far you go is mostly, now you're going to have a unicorn that's going to be like, I don't care what she's doing. Like I'm going, but most of the time, like the vibe of the leader is the vibe of the team. Right. And so you undo that leadership lid. And so if you are playing small, what's going to happen to your team? You're showing them to play small. And if you are telling yourself that you can't do it, how are you going to be a light to anybody else? And it's not an instant mind. You're not going to be cured today, right? This call is not going to just cure you today, but it's going to hopefully spark something in you that's going to say, okay, what action can I take today? Why have I just been messing around the last 6 months? Like, it's okay. I truly believe it's okay to be hard on ourselves. Like it's okay to say, what have I been doing? Like, to me, like, I'll be super transparent with you guys. Like the last few months, I have not been showing up in my business the way I see myself as a leader. Like, I know I'm better than what I've been showing up the last 3 months. My girls deserve better. Like, if I'm not doing it, guess what? I'm setting the standard to be relaxed, to have a relaxed business. And guess what? When that happens, what happens when you get relaxed? Your team gets relaxed. And so I'm like, I told my girls yesterday, I was like, I'm sick of me. Like, I'm sick of me and I'm sick of the way that I've been doing things, because I know that you guys deserve better. I deserve better. My family deserves better. Plexus as a whole deserves better from us, right? Because they're so generous in everything that they do for us. And we represent Plexus. We represent our team. We represent the girls underneath us. And believe it or not, whether you think it or not, those people are waiting for you to pop in the chats in the morning, to show your face and to post and to do all of those things. Like, they are looking to you, and it just like your kids do, right? Your kids are looking for you to be there in the morning, to make them breakfast, to help them when they fall down, like all those things. That is your team. Like, they are looking to you to be there to guide them, right? Like, that is what we are here to do. And if we can just take that and like embody that as someone who has this like servant mindset of like, I want to serve this person, but I also want to let them know like they can do this. Here is my goal. Because if you don't have a goal, and if you don't try to get, Heather, if you don't try to get back up to senior Ruby points or Emerald, you're going to allow your team to believe that they can't do it either. Right? Like, my team knows I got to diamond. Guess what? They're like, if Andrea can do it, I mean, the girl who flies by the seat of her pants, who is just like, I can do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just creates the road. Like, you have already paved the road to senior Ruby. And now you're going to show them how you're going to have tips on how to re-rank, what you need to do in the re-ranking season. And you're going to put that somewhere. Right. And so when someone's like, how do I re-rank? You're like, girl, this is what I did. Let me show you how. then you're going to go to Emerald and you're going to show them how you did that. And then you're going to go to Sapphire and then Diamond. And it's like, you're going to be able to tell them in each season of their business, and you're going to be able to relate to them. And so I just want you guys to understand that you have to pull yourself up and you have to get yourself out of the trenches, right? You can still be in the trenches. I think we're always going to be in the trenches of a business, no matter what rank we're at. But there's a difference than letting yourself sink than putting on boots and saying, we're going to go through this together and it's going to be messy, but we're going to try to get out of this together. Right. And I think that that's so powerful. And it doesn't matter what you've done 3 months ago, right? Like if my girls rated me on what I've done 3 months ago, like they'd be like, well, you know, what's happened, but I'm not scared to come back in and be like, let's freaking go. Like, let's do this. Yeah, yes, I slacked, but guess what? We're all human and that's totally fine. Right. Like Michelle said, we're entrepreneurs and we can take hold of the steering wheel at any time in our business. And it's easier to stay consistent and stay the course than just completely fall off the tracks. And I truly believe that. And I want you guys to understand that you, like right now, July 30, how many days are in July? 31, 30, I don't know. Literally.
31.
I'm like, what day is it? But seriously, from here until July 31st, you can make a huge wave. And then a wave that's going to carry you into August, right? And then September. Start today. I'm going to drop the onboarding stuff in the chat. And I want you guys to implement that. Go find one person to implement the onboarding with. Ask for a shout out and it'll get it going, right? Okay. Love you guys. Sorry, I just came in full force, but I was like, I feel so fired up today. Like we need to get this on the stick and row this boat together and do the things and just make sure that the vibes are right. Always like vibe check yourself and just be like, before you enter a chat, before you enter a team call, make sure your vibe is right. Because no matter what, your team is going to be able to feel it.
Yeah.
So.
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Love you all. And I'll post this recording in case someone else, someone wasn't on, and Andrea will share the onboarding stuff, but we will have another call and probably a couple. I know we're off a little bit on this month, but maybe the 1st of August or the end of this month. So we'll let you know.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right.
Bye guys.